The conflict in Vietnam began in 1959, when Vietnam split into Communist North Vietnam and Democratic South Vietnam. The United States was a military advisor for South Vietnam, because the United States wanted to stop communism and keep them from becoming a communist country as well. By doing so, the United States committed itself as an ally to South Vietnam, involving themselves in the conflict. This angered North Vietnam because they wanted to end U.S. support of South Vietnam. In this conflict, over 58,000 American soldiers gave up their lives. The heroic life of Jesus Curiel. On August 4, 1948, Juanita Curiel gave birth to a baby boy in Alice, Texas. Juanita named her beautiful son Jesus. We all endure hardships in life, but Jesus was forced to live without a father because his was murdered when he was merely a baby. Like Jesus, we all possess a certain destiny, and he was destined to be a hero. Flash forward to 1966, Jesus' senior year in high school, when he not only met the love of his life, the beautiful Rosita Ibanez, but he also enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. On November 4, 1967, 19-year-old Jesus was stationed in Vietnam during the Vietnam conflict. Jesus traveled to defend his country in various countries in Vietnam, such as Chu Lai, Da Nang, Phu Bai, and Khe Sanh. While stationed in Vietnam, Jesus and his love Rosita kept in touch by sending letters to one another. But one day, Jesus stopped receiving word from her. This affected Jesus greatly, because the greatest hardship for him during this time in his life was being away from his loved ones, and those letters were the one thing he had to hold on to. One day, Jesus was reading the Stars and Stripes, a newspaper that the Marines had received. The first thing soldiers did when they got a copy of it was look at the casualties from their hometown. Jesus looked under the Dallas, Texas obituary, only to find the name of Rosita's 20-year-old brother, Alfonso Ibanez. During the war, Alfonso had been serving as a Specialist 4 in the United States Army in Gia Dinh, Vietnam, where he lost his life. Rosita ceased to send letters to the love of her life with fear that her beloved Jesus, like her brother, would never return home. Fortunately, Rosita's prayers were answered when her soldier returned home on July 4, 1967. Upon arrival home, Vietnam soldiers were extremely disrespected, being titled as baby killers, being spit on, and in some cases they were assaulted verbally and physically by protesters, who threw human urine and feces at them. After fighting in a war, selflessly risking their lives for their country, they deserved the utmost respect from the people they fought to protect, but that isn't what they received. This was a difficult time for Vietnam soldiers. My grandfather Jesus knows that best. He has lost countless loved ones, he has seen horrific sights that no one should ever have to see, and he had to do all of this without his family by his side. He also suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, like many war veterans. He endured all of this to protect his country, and he was willing to give his life up for it, no questions asked. I am proud to call my grandfather my hero. Today, Jesus works at the Naval Air Station in Corpus Christi as a production coordinator. He has been happily married to his first love, Rosita Ibanez, for 43 years and counting. Jesus is an amazing father to 3 children and an irreplaceable grandfather to 7 grandchildren, one of which should be making their debut into this world this coming March.